practice, it sounds a little bit more like music. Dad says being strong means knowing you can make things happen and turning nothing into something. Like when I want to dress up as some of my heroes, I decide to reduce, reuse, and recycle. So I look around and use my imagination. It's harder than buying a costume, and it's not perfect, but I make it happen. Mama says being strong means moving forward. Tiny steps are fine, she says, as long as they take you in the right direction. When I decide to write 100 thank you notes to strong people, it seems like so many, more than I could ever do. But whenever I give one away, I'm closer to my goal. Grandma Z says, strong people care and sometimes cry. They help people and let other people help them. What a good reminder. That's why when Kayla offers me a hand, I take it. I don't reach the top, but I get higher than before. So I say, I am strong. And when I'm not strong enough alone, I can be strong with someone else. Like Grandma Z and me, when we each take a backpack strap, flex our muscles and lift, together we'll keep going strong. Until everyone is showing up, speaking up. And never ever giving up. The end. So I think this little one, she gave us great resources, great ways in which we can be strong together, and even individually, how we can be strong. And of course, we want to think about this from the Buddhist perspective as well. And so when we think about all of the Buddha's teachings, maybe we can always resort back to the foundation that we've learned, maybe as children here or children growing up in another temple, or even as adults. Some of the teachings that we do have, like the Buddha, the teachings of the Buddha and the Sangha as well. The Sangha is the community in which we're a part of as a temple. And so we can really think about all of these things like endurance and right view and right thought and right speech of being able to continue to be strong and facing some of those challenges. And like this little one in the book, even asking for help when you need it. And she said that there's strength in that too, to be able to accept help when we do need it. And together, we can be strong together. Okay, and so sometimes when you are faced with some of those challenges, go back to what you feel is your foundation. That can also include your family and your friends and all of the words of wisdom that they share with you too. Okay, so remember to be strong when life seems a little bit hard, and we'll always be here for you. Please join me in Gassho to conclude my message. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Naman.
Yes. Thank you, Sensei, for your wonderful story. We will now have birthdays for the month of February. Let's see here. As your name is called, please come up and burn incense, receive your cupcake, and have your candle lit by Sensei. We will start with the older students. Well, yes, older students, so please come up quickly so we can get everyone up in front before the candles burn away. Dharma School student Taiga Matsumoto. Are there any other Dharma School students that have birthdays in February? Okay. Then we'll go on to the adults. Candy Hayashi. Lon Kitagawa. Celebrating the big one. Sorry. Is Bob Fuji here? No. Diane Hotta, Karen Oshta, Sachi, and Akita. Anybody else, any other adults with birthdays in the month of February? Lois Nashi. And we have someone special too. And we have our own Reverend Candace Shibata. Are there any other birthdays for February? Did we miss anyone? I want everyone for a picture. Okay, shall we sing happy birthday to our dear friends? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friends. Happy birthday to you. Yay! And thank you to class 1 to 3 for providing the cupcakes this month. Okay, and Mike Shibata will go over the announcements.
Join us for our Nirvana Day service on February 16. Our Japanese Treasures and Boutique sale will be held on Saturday, March 29 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Donations are requested. Temple Scholarship applications will be available in March. The church, home, and hospital visitation will be held on April 5th. If you know of someone who would appreciate a visit, please contact the office by March 15th. A variety of food items and small gifts will be given. These are for church members 90 years of age and older, or those residing in a care facility or recovering from an illness. Hatsumairi, the first Buddhist service, will be held on May 18. Please see the Karma for more information. Beginner Pickleball will meet on February 23rd at 11 a.m. through 1:30 p.m. Cans and plastic bottles are now being collected by YBA. Please leave your recyclables in the white barrels by the mini chapel. Following today's service will be the Shotski service. Yaba is having their chili over rice sale until 12:30 p.m. I believe there's a few extra tickets available. Coffee hour or friendship hour will follow this service and also follow the Shotski service. The SBWA meeting will be held today at 11:30 in the social room of the gym. Tomonokai crafts session will be held on Thursday, February 13 from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Interfaith Tea will be held on Thursday, February 20th. This will be held at the Church of Latter-day Saints, and it will begin at 1 p.m. Everyone is invited to attend the interfaith service and tea. Are there any other announcements? If not, students are dismissed to go to classes, and the service will be followed by the Shotski service.
Have you stopped growing? Well, it's good to see you too.
Yeah, just be careful. That's a good idea, though, to make an announcement. You know, I'll make an announcement after the service.
Tell them don't give them $200.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Okay, Good morning again, everybody. Thank you for your kind attendance as we observe this Shotsky Monthly Memorial Service for the month of February. And it's nice to see so many familiar faces as you gather here to remember and honor your loved one. So thank you again for attending. So we'll start the service because I know that Lee and Rice are waiting for us. So I'll chant quickly and talk fast. We have a lot going on today, so we want to get the chili hot. So what we'll do today, we'll start as we normally do with the chanting of Sambujo. Sambujo is a hymn called Three Respectful Callings. And you know, to be honest, I don't know if we chanted Sambujo growing up here, and so I think it's a beautiful way in which we chant together. And again, this is calling upon Amida Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, and the Buddhas of the 10 Directions. And I always mention the Buddhas of the 10 Directions, especially for Shotsky and monthly memorial services, because we're calling upon all of our loved ones to come to our minds as they normally do from our day-to-day doings. But really, it's a wonderful way for us to turn our hearts and minds to them as well. And after the chanting of Sambujo, again, it can be found in the inside front cover of your service book. I'll state the Hyobyakumon, or the dedication or declaration of our gathering, and of course, read the Shotsky names for the month of February. Okay, so please join me in the chanting of Sambujo. We have gathered today to observe our Shotsky Monthly Memorial Service. This is our monthly service to remember friends and loved ones who have passed away in the month of February. They are Nisaburo Aihara, Masako Baba, Ruby Dobana, Chio Eller, Mary Mutsuko Fuji, Shizuma Fuji, Kiyome Fujimori, Juichi Fujimori, Harue Holly Fukano, Misao Fukuhara, Shizue Fukuyama, Catherine Gotanda, Alan Hajio, Mitsue Hamamoto, Alice Ayako Hattori, Toku Hayashi, Alice Higashi, Henry Makoto Higashi, Motoshi Higashi, Alice Natsuko Hirata, Nancy Toshie Honda, Sumi Horita, Haji Hota, Hatsue Imada, Chieko Ingam, George Inoue, Ryu Kajioka, Tetsuo Kato, Haruo Kimoto, Joe Kazuo Kishi, Frank Kitagawa, Kikue Kitagawa, Shizuma Kubo, Yoshi Kubo, David Toshio Matsuo, Jintaro Matsuo, Morie Marie Mitsuda, Akira Mizuno, Misao Mei Morodomi, Sadao Morodomi, David Jiro Morinaka, Lillian Nagai, Gonsaku Nakao, Mildred Kimiko Natsu, Yasukichi Jack Natsuhara, Toshiko Nishihara, Tokie Nishimoto, Willie Lee Norris, Irene Nonaka, Torao Te Ogawa, Mabel Mitsuru Okubo, Newell Okuhara, Bunosuke Omoto, Ben Shoji Oshima, Helen Oshiro, Saburo Oshita, Sukeichi Oto, Michinobu Saga, Kiyoshi Kei Saiki, Alice Sakata, Frank Sakata, Masayuki Sato, Shizuko Sato, Mura Sekine, Donald Kiyoshi Shinoda, Chizuko Sugano, Roderick Keiichi Sugi, Misako Sumida, Richard Diki Tahara, Richard Masao Takahashi, Tokijiro Tonki Takeda, Richard Tanaka, Kiyome Tsugawa, Masao Ueda, Fusako Watanabe, Kimie Yabumoto, Shigeru Richard Yabumoto, Nancy Sachiko Yagi, Bill Masayoshi Yamada, Yoshio Bob Yamada, Noboru Yamanaka, Ryoichi Yasui, Masaaki Sam Yoneda, Ronald Hiroshi Yonemura, Umeko Yoshida, and Masao Duke Yoshimura. We realize in the cherished memories of those we love and have lost, the impermanence of all the world is revealed. May the fragrance of the incense teach us the purity of our intentions. May the beauty of the flowers offered remind us of life's impermanence. May the lights that burn brightly on the altar lead our thoughts to Amida Buddha's light of wisdom and compassion. Please join me in Gassho. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Okay, so we will continue the service with the sutra chanting of Sambutsuge. And please join me in the chanting. And Sambutsuge starts on page 81. And of course, during the chanting of the sutra, please come forward to offer incense during the sutra chanting. 諸慶部人体前年小仏崩壊愚人寺の空港外大無名欲ぬ世尊女無二の獅子人徳無量空軍古代知恵寿命光明異相神道大仙願が差仏在所生じ未不下脱不正常位会に精進両勢三昧知恵以上公正特仏仏教志願一切空一切大安慶始仏悪世の九万無量大小修行五者供養一切死と小仏不尿愚道賢勝不逆非尿五者小仏世界不不影無種節道光明師匠変地小国両勢精進偉人難量両が差仏国土第一五種奇妙道場調節国女内音二無闘争加藤愛民到達異彩地方大小熱症状糸が国慶楽和の古物神妙世が心象大津がの日力少所欲地方生存家無下浄土子孫志が信教慶道心死食六十家業精進人寿不減ナマンダ shi gu dong gu byo do sei saim don mo dai shin Audio an Namanda Vatsina Manda Vatsina Manda Vatsina Manda Vatsina Manda Vatsina Manda Vats Namanda Vats Namanda Vats Namanda Vats. Okay, so at this time, will you please stand if it's comfortable for you to do so for the singing of the Gatha Tsuicho no Uta, verses 1 and 2, which can be found on page 222 in the service book, and this will be followed by the three treasures found on page 2. Okay. Three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord, in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandavats. 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 You may be seated. Okay, so at this time, I'd like to share just a few thoughts and words in a Dharma message for this morning. To begin my message, will you please join me in Gassho? Beings born in the Pure Land, in the past, present, and future, are not solely from this world. They come from Buddha lands throughout the 10 quarters and are countless, innumerable, beyond calculation. From the collective works of Shinran, hymns based on the Gathas in praise of Amida Buddha. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Okay, good morning again, everybody. Thank you again for your kind attendance today. I need to make this a little bit bigger so I can see. As you know, I'll be celebrating a birthday at the end of this month, and definitely my eyes are feeling my age too. So my screen is really, really big right now. So again, thank you for coming as we observe our monthly memorial service. And of course, later on in this month, we'll be observing Nirvana Day, which is the day in which Shakyamuni Buddha passed away, attained parinirvana, or complete nirvana, upon the passing of his physical body. And so, of course, with that event coming up, and as we gather here for our Shotsuki service, and of course, as I think about my ministry, I think about all of the interactions that I have with our members, especially during their time of loss. And as a minister, I'm faced with death frequently, with the passing of Dharma friends in our Sangha, and of course in the community who call upon me for support if that member happened to be Buddhist as well. So I participate in comfort services for members before they pass away, or bedside services called makuragyo after they pass, which frequently happen after they pass, different funerals, and of course subsequent memorial services. And I get asked if this is the most difficult part about being a minister. And yes, it's true. It deeply saddens me when a Dharma friend passes away. And of course, I get choked up quite frequently. And I just did, just thinking about all of our Dharma friends that we're remembering today. However, since I believe that my ministry was truly shaped with my own experience of losing my mom, I think sitting beside and supporting our families who have experienced a loss of a loved one seems to be very natural for me, and it's an honor for me to be able to do that as a minister. And it's really hard, I think, to put into words what we might be feeling or experiencing after the loss of a loved one. And this can be maybe days or weeks, months, and even several years after our loved one has passed away. And I came across this particular poem online, which was written by a woman named Joanne Boyle, and I wanted to share this poem with you today. So grief walked up to love and asked if it would like to dance. Love blamed grief for everything and rudely answered, no chance. Grief stood there watching love, knowing there was nothing it could do. It shared in every teardrop and felt every heartache too. Love hated grief so fiercely and prayed for it to go away. Grief could never leave though, and it was there to stay. Every day it asked the same question, love, please dance with me. Every day was met with the answer, please just let me be. Grief and love shared every moment. Every thought was just the same. Every day they fought a battle of love along with blame. Grief finally stopped asking and pulled love to its chest. Together they swayed in memories and shared their empty nest. Grief never let go of love again. They made bitter music as one. And after all there was no love, then grief couldn't belong. And so I found this poem very moving. And I think maybe at times when we experience a loss of a loved one, we don't want to experience grief, and it's so very painful. But I think this poem really speaks to us in the way in which Buddhism teaches us about interdependence and impermanence in our lives as well, but in a very visceral, very heart-wrenching type of way as well. So I know I talk about this very frequently, interdependence or interconnection and impermanence. And we know that one of Buddha's major teachings is this interdependence. And this means that our existence really is due to the support, love, care, and guidance of countless people, seen and unseen, from our past, in the present, and even in the future. And so many of us, when we think about our families, we can think about, of course, our parents, our siblings, our grandparents, aunts and uncles, those who we've had a connection with and had several and various and countless experiences with. But of course, maybe many of you, like me, I didn't have a chance to meet, say, for example, my maternal grandfather, as he passed away before I was even born. And so even though I never had a chance to meet him, I'm still inspired by his love of cooking. He was a chef, and I'm sure I'm influenced by him in so many different ways, even though I never had a chance to meet him. So again, we're so influenced and so connected to seen and unseen individuals. And that goes even beyond our own families. That goes beyond to think about those individuals who, again, pick our food, process it, make it into different foods, deliver it to the stores, and who are allowing us to have it onto our tables. So again, we're supported by so many people, and I think it's so countless and it's so vast that we may not even think about all of these individuals. But again, countless conditions have allowed you to be born into your particular families. And as I mentioned in other services, this allows you to form relationships that lead to marriages and possibly children and expanding your family unit. And you exist and are here today because of others in your family, seen and unseen. And of course, we can be very, very grateful for recognizing interdependence in our lives and interconnection. But of course, we're also reminded of that major teaching in Buddhism that we also experience in our lives called impermanence. And impermanence and change is all around us. We're noticing it every day as the weather changes, as the flowers will bloom in spring. And of course, we experience this change as we celebrate birthdays as well. And even for me, I'll be celebrating my 47th birthday, and that comes with a lot of questions and aches and pains and probably upcoming doctor's visits as my body and eyesight changes as well. However, when we think about impermanence, the Buddha did understand that the pain and sadness and suffering regarding impermanence in our lives that we'll experience as human beings is the toughest when we lose a loved one. And there's many kinds of sufferings that the Buddha understood and acknowledged, but he also acknowledged that the suffering of grief was definitely the hardest. And so I kind of wanted to share how this revelation came about even in my own life as well. So of course, when I lost my mom, I was 25. I wasn't really thinking about what my life would be like on my own, and I was living at home, and mom was still cooking dinner for us and making breakfast when she could. I have to shamelessly admit she was still making my bed, even when I was 25 and Tiffany was 27 years old. But my mom, she was like Superwoman. Was able to do so many things in just 24 hours time. I wondered how many hours a day she slept. But again, at 25, I didn't think about all these things. I was just thinking about when I was going to see my friends and what I was going to be doing. However, it wasn't until after she passed away that I really understood all of the things that she did to sustain us. and all these things that she did without any recognition. Like I mentioned, she would be cooking for us daily. She would clean up our home every day. I think she dusted and cleaned every day before coming into work, and maybe that's why she used to run a little bit late to the office, but me too. But all of these different things. And, even at nighttime, I still recall being very young, and she would be doing our laundry. And I still hear the clink of our dressers as she would softly open up our dresser drawers and put in our clean clothes and close the dresser. And it would make this little clink, and I still hear that to this day. And she did all of these different things while we were sleeping. And I'm sure she was probably preparing for the next day as she was waking up very early to make my dad's lunch. And so all of these different things I never really acknowledged and noticed or appreciated deeply until after she was gone. And now being an adult, I have to take care of my own home and my own cats and my own laundry and my own dishes. And I'm tired. And I can't believe my mother was able to do all of these different things. But I think at times we may not really truly appreciate our loved ones or see them for all of their beautiful qualities or remember even memories that we experience with them until after they've passed away. And so I think when we think about interdependence and this impermanence, and we think about life and death, really all of these teachings are really encouraging us, and I think the Buddha is urging us to learn how to live when we are faced with death, urging us to live with a heart of gratitude, urging us to express our feelings to our family members and our loved ones, and maybe even strangers, of our deep appreciation before it's too late. And I think many of us could probably think about, when we think about our loved ones, think about everything that we wanted to say to them that we never had an opportunity to do so before they passed away. And I think I might be presumptuous, but probably many of us would want to say thank you. Thank you for the love. Thank you for everything that you've done for me. And perhaps maybe when we put our palms together, they're hearing us. And it's hearing our appreciation of thank you and I love you and I miss you. So again, I think when we're faced with death, death really allows us to acknowledge and allow us to reflect upon how we want to live. How do we really want to live this one and only life that we have? And I always refer back to it in the three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life, and now we're living it. And how are we going to spend the rest of these precious moments together? And perhaps that's the question that I'll leave with you today as you think about how your own grief and your own love dance together in your hearts and your minds. And sometimes, maybe like the poem, it battles because we just want our loved ones to be here. But again, I think the teachings are really urging us to look at how we want to live our lives, this one and only life that we have to live. And so again, as we put our palms together and we think about all of the Buddhas of the 10 directions, the 10 quarters, as Shinran was saying, they're of the beings of the past, present, and even in the future. And so when we put our palms together, let's express this deep gratitude of love and appreciation through the name Namo Amida Butsu. So to conclude my message, will you please join me in Gassho? Beings born in the Pure Land in the past, present, and future are not solely from this world. They come from Buddha lands throughout the 10 quarters and are countless, innumerable, beyond calculation. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. And so if any of you are interested in the poem that I got so choked up during, so hopefully it didn't distract from the poem, but if you're interested in the poem, please let me know and I'd be happy to email it to you, okay? Okay, so before we conclude today's service, please stand if it's comfortable for you for the singing of Ondoksa number 2, which can be found on page 197. You may be seated. I'd like to conclude with one last meditation. If you wouldn't mind, please joining me in Kasho. May we truly reflect with gratitude and humility on that which we have been allowed to receive through the teachings of the Buddha. May we always endeavor to listen intently to our fellow beings, to the summoning voice of Amida Buddha, and together as one, be born in Amida's pure land. With a radiant and boundless mind, may we each regard all living beings with loving kindness without limit. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandabutsu. Okay, so thank you again, everybody, for your kind attendance today. And thank you, Kathy Fujimori, for playing the piano so beautifully today. Thank you, Charlie Bagshaw, for streaming, and Alex Sakata for troubleshooting. We had a little bit of trouble with our streaming today, but we're up and running. So hello, everybody on YouTube. So that will conclude today's service. Thank you again for your kind attendance. And I just wanted to bring one concern to your attention. And actually, one of our temple members did mention to me that she was emailed. Unfortunately, it was a scam. So please be aware of scam emails and scam phone calls and text messages that might be coming maybe from a fellow temple member. And so please be aware that temple members, or even myself, it's happened to ministers, that we would never email you or contact you asking for either money or gift cards. Okay, so please be aware, because this particular member was going to purchase a gift card for these scammers who were trying to get money from her. So she wanted me to share it and bring it to your attention, that please be aware that might be being distributed amongst temple members, okay? If you have any questions, please give us a call if you happen to come across something that looks a little suspicious, but please don't respond because, again, we would never ask for any financial support through money or gift cards, okay? So please be careful out there. It's very scary in the virtual world of online emails, okay? So thank you again. Please drive home safely, enjoy the day. Hopefully it's not going to rain, and enjoy that chili and rice, because I think it's waiting for you in the mini chapel. And thank you for supporting the Yaba, okay? So thank you again, and have a great day.